What's up, y'all, and welcome back to my channel, AABTV. And if you are just now tuning in, welcome to my channel. Welcome to another episode recap of ABC's #1 show, Abbott Elementary. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and tell a friend about us, because we are here every Tuesday. So let's get into the video. First things first, I'm a little late with my upload, but it's all right. It's spring break. I'm getting everything together, but I'm here. I wouldn't do y'all like that. So we opened the show with Janine's class being in the special area music, and she's trying to get her class out of the music teacher's class, but you know, everybody loves going to special areas, and she kind of felt the way about that. Then we move to the break room where everybody always meets, where everybody always congregates, and we're talking about the annual school board coming. And we all know with previous episodes how everyone has been anticipating this moment because we found out about Ava, how she ended up getting her job. And if you haven't saw that episode, or if you haven't seen my review or recap on that, make sure y'all go check it out. But we remember how she got her job. And so in that episode, the principal told her, you know, your job is on the line. And she knows that. Everybody else knows that. And she's basically shaking in her boots the entire time, because we all know Ava is not your typical everyday principal. She's in her own world every single day. So, because of this, we also found out that Greg, who is the substitute there, he had applied for the specific principal job at that school, and he's been feeling some type of way pretty much ever since he found out about it. So basically everybody's discussing it, talking about how Ava's presentation is going to go, how, you know, everything is just basically riding on this specific presentation. So, Greg knows, you know, all the ins and outs of what to expect from this visit. And like I said, he's still not understanding how she got the job, not understanding how she's made it this far as the principal of Abbott Elementary. And he doesn't really think that she'll do good when the superintendent comes on that Friday. So in this meeting, Barb mentions that everybody should just get prepared to get rid of the special areas, or like the fun things that the kids like to do, like music, because now that the superintendent isn't falling for Ava's crap anymore and not allowing her to blackmail him anymore, he's like, she's thinking, you know, he's not going to give us this, what they call discretionary funds. And that's just like funding for, you know, the things that need to be done in the school. And she was just saying, you know, everybody needs to prepare to get rid of those things. And she also mentioned that she was kind of wondering if she would be able to get this advancement grant that she's been applying for I think she said like 10 plus years, and she's never gotten it. And so Melissa took notice of that, and she was just basically like, let's find a way to, let's get something from the inside. Let's find a way to get you this grant. Let's find a way to help you. So she comes back, I guess the next day, and she's like telling Barbara like, hey, there's a woman that goes to your church that works for the school board, and you know, we can get her to basically help. And Barbara's just like, I don't really talk to her. I really don't know nothing about her. You know, she works with the church finance committee and all of that. But, you know, I don't really want to, like, rock the boat. I don't really want to bother her. I don't really want to basically extort, if we can use that word, one of my church members in order for me to get this grant. And she was just like, no, whatever, you know, I'll just leave it up to your type of people. And when she made that comment, of course, as anyone would, some people would take that to heart, which Mel took that to heart, and she began to get like seem pretty distant from Barbara, and gave her a lot of attitude. Without just being forthcoming and telling her the reason as to why she was offended. So while all of that is going on, Janine goes to Ava asking her if she's ready for the presentation, how she's been preparing for it. She wanted to see her presentation, basically, just to see, everything that was going to go on. And because she knew, again, that, your presentation rides on these funds that we need for different things for the school, for the students. So you need to be on point, and we want you here. Even though you're in your own world 9 times out of 10 throughout the school day, you don't know really what's going on. We need you here. We want you here. So Ava shows her the presentation. Janine basically like, this isn't good. This isn't gonna make a good impression. The superintendent is already gunning for you. Like, he already told you you're out of there. So let's get help. So because we all know, like I said before, Greg knows all about principal stuff. He went to seminars. He had interviews and all that stuff. She goes and asks Greg, you know what to do. You know what to expect. Can you please help us? He's hesitant about it, but he ends up doing it. And so they're basically running through the presentation, how everything's going to go, what they're going to be looking for with the data and the stats and all of that stuff. And not Janine, but Ava, she's like, this is boring, blah, blah, blah. Like, and he's just like, well, I know what I'm talking about. Do you want your job or not, basically? But again, Ava is never impressed. And so Greg and Janine was like, she's not falling for it. So let's come up with something else to do. So they decide, which was to me was a great idea, to basically be the wingmen for her presentation. They're gonna, talk all about the data, the statistics. They're gonna speak, and she's just gonna be there and do whatever else needs to be done. And she was just like, okay, that's cool. Like, y'all talk about all the important stuff. I'm just gonna do me, and we leave it at that. So then here comes Barbara, and she basically tells Melissa that she doesn't want to compromise her morals to get something done, which is what she felt, or why she felt the need to make that comment to Melissa. And she told this, that she didn't want to compromise her morals. She told this to Jacob, because he could tell that there was some tension between them, but he didn't know why. So as he's, in the garden talking to Barbara, that's when she tells him that. And he's basically like, it's not necessarily bad to do things to get something good out of it. Kind of like, doing uncommon things in order to get what you want. And he mentioned, you didn't really want to do this garden with me, but you did it and you ended up liking it. So, maybe just think about it, and don't look at Melissa, don't look at her as if she's this bad person, because Melissa was really taking it to heart. She done came in the room and grabbed carpets up, because she was just like, I don't want I don't want this bad, juju or this bad energy in here, and you think I'm a bad person. Like, she really took it to heart. And so I guess, Barbara thought about everything that Jacob said. We get to the day that the superintendent's supposed to be there. And as Greg is going down the hallway, the superintendent bumps into him. He's like, oh, I remember you. I remember you were the interview for this and that. Sorry I couldn't hire you, but he pulls out a business card, and he's basically like, there are principal jobs that are opening even here at Abbott. And he hands him the card and is like, I'll talk to you later. Give me a call. Think about it. So, meanwhile, we all know this is Greg's dream job. So to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, is he going to try to swoop in and take Ava's job? Is he going to leave? Everybody's, to me, as I'm watching it, real time, I'm just like, oh my gosh, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? So, we go away from that, and we see that, that everybody's there. Barbara's church member is there. Melissa goes up to her and points her out to Barb and like, there she is, So Barb's like, still kind of apprehensive about going up and talking to her. And meanwhile, while everybody's congregating, we don't see Barb anymore, but we end up seeing her in the bathroom. And the lady from her church, I don't remember the lady's name, but she comes out of the bathroom and she's kind of like shocked to see, somebody standing there. And she's like, Barb was like, hey, such and such, like, you're a member of my church. Aren't you on the finance committee at the church? Don't you do X, Y, and Z? I would love to talk to you, da 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 da. And then they go straight to Janine, Greg, and Ava being in the hallway. Here comes the superintendent, and he's like, are you ready? Basically, like, I'm ready to take your job. Like, I know you didn't prepare for this. I know everything that you're doing is going to be, it's not going to be what it needs to be. It's not going to be up to par. So I'm just ready to get this over with. And she tells him, she's all happy about it. She feels comfortable. Everybody's ready. And she's like, let me introduce you to two of Abbott's finest teachers, which she points to Greg and Janine. And he's like, basically like, what are they here for? And she tells him, like, this is my team. Like, we're going to present together. And he's like, oh, no, you're not Slick. Like, no, you're doing this by yourself. So then everybody just like, oh, my gosh. Like, oh, my gosh. So she decides to go in there and wing the presentation. And everybody else, like, who was out there? Jacob, Janine, Greg, they're all in the hallway eavesdropping, trying to listen in to what's going on. Meanwhile, Ava's in there just, like I said, winging it, doing her best. The superintendent, you can tell, he's just looking like, I'm over it. I mean, it's done. Like, you don't just stop, basically. And before you know it, Ava's like, you know what, forget all this. Like, and then she starts like speaking from her heart, talking about all the things that she does for students, all the things that the teachers do for the students, and how they need the discretionary funds for X, Y, and Z, and how just she may not be good for the money, or but the teachers need it, they deserve it. And I'm in there like, yeah, because they see that she really cares. And he's like, okay. And then we don't find out anything until it comes back from commercial. So once it comes back from commercial, everybody's like, excited. They know, she feels good about everything that she said, everything that she did. And they're thinking like, okay, we got this in a bag. Like, the money is ours. So here comes the superintendent. He's like, I mean, she did good, but she's not getting the money. She blackmailed me all these years. Don't blame me. Blame the way that the system is. And just walks off, and everybody's mouth is dropped like, are you kidding? We just went through all of that, and you just gonna tell us flat out that we're not getting this? Like, so, everybody just like, wow. But at the end of the day, Ava still had her job. And I forgot to mention that while they were waiting in the hallway, while Ava was presenting, we see that Greg was on his phone. Now, remember, we said that, the principal had gave him the business card and told him about the principal job opening. So the whole time I'm thinking like this, Janine notices that he's on his phone, and she's like, in awkward situations, I text too and all that stuff. He's like, no, I sent an email. So I'm like, I'm wondering what this email is. Like, is he thinking about, taking the job? Is he considering going somewhere else? We never know. So, so we find out that, Barbara church member decides to give her the advancement grant money, and, it's insinuated that Barbara knew some tea about this lady and basically told her, if you don't want your business out, help me out. And I think Barbara even made this comment like, I've done it the right way for 10 years, trying to fill out the applications, and we've been the school that was needing this money, and we've been deserving of it. But the moment that I got the tea on you, now all of a sudden, you want to help me out, when you could have helped me out a long time ago, So it's just like, you could have been to this, but you got, your nose up in the air, so you just passed over us. And I was just like, bravo, good for you, Barbara. So everybody's happy, like, you did it, even though we didn't get those funds, we got the grant. So, let's figure out how we're going to divvy out the money. And they're like, well, that's a job for the principal. And they shoot over to Ava, and she's back to her regular Ava self. Like, don't be looking at me. Like, I ain't got time for y'all. And she walks out. And then also, like I said, Mel is happy because she sees that, you know, Barbara kind of took her advice and shook down the lady from her church, and she was just like, oh, you got a little messiness with inside of you, as we all do. Then that's pretty much the end. It's once we get to the actual end with, like, you know, them rolling the credits, we see Ava in her office, and Greg is sitting there, and they're kind of looking at each other, staring each other down, and she's like, I saw your email. And he was like, yeah, I figured you would. And, you know, again, I'm thinking like, oh, he done applied to get her job. He about to sweep in and get her job. No, he's going to be a permanent fixture, a full-time teacher at Abbott Elementary. So I'm so excited. He's not going to be a substitute anymore. So, you see, he has a little heart, even though he tries to play it off and, you know, don't really want to let that wall down. He's becoming, you know, more and more comfortable with people. So I'm glad to see that. And I'm glad to see that Ava still has her job. And I'm wondering if, like, the superintendent is going to be another, like, recurring role, just to see how that dynamic goes. And I think this is the second to last episode for season 1. I believe it's going to be 13 episodes. So this was episode 12. And I believe, if I'm correct, that next week will be the end of season 1 of Abbott Elementary. It is such a great show, y'all. Like, wouldn't y'all agree? So yeah, if you didn't catch it, remember, they always stream it on Hulu, and it comes on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. on ABC. This has been another recap. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Let me know what you thought about tonight's episode, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.